What's up, everyone? How we doing? Just a random stream today, to be honest. I realized I hadn't done one in a little while. Wow, that's very orange, isn't it? I hadn't done one in a little while, and I wanted to, show you all a little bit of an update on where I'm at. Frankly, there isn't much of an update. I've been so slammed with projects and other things. Let me just hide this, otherwise I'll distract myself. So slammed with projects and other things that I've not really had time to think about this meetup website. And it wasn't until today that somebody had said, hey, that website that you've got up has a bunch of weird content on it. Some random text about yoga. What are you doing? And obviously I realized that I've had the website up live with the template content attached to it. Now that was intentional because it was essentially trying to get me to be accountable for getting this thing live. But what I realized is that there are actually better ways of doing this in a kind of short stint and then building as we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you basically where we're at, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next, basically. Now, for those of you who tuned into the last stream, there was audio. For the stream just before that, there wasn't. I was talking for 40 minutes without anybody able to hear me. So if you are here and you cannot hear me for whatever reason, let me know. I will, I'll figure something out. But I think we're good right now, hopefully. Seems to be working. We've got YouTube Live here. The chat is available, so I'll say, hey, y'all, this. But if you do arrive, the comment will be there for you to see. And if you're watching this after the fact, then welcome. I'm Ash. I'm building things. I'm trying to build a company from scratch. I've been advising and working with startups for over 10 years now, and I've cut my teeth a lot. I know what I'm doing, I think. What I want to do is I want to put that to the test with creating new things, and then I want to share those with you and help you learn how to do them too. The current project that we've got going on here right now, as you'll see from the other streams if you've tuned into them or go and check them out, is that I'm building a brand and a website for something that I've had going as a project for a long time now, over 10 years, which is called Rebel Meetups. Rebel Meetups is a safe space for the next generation of leaders, mavericks, outliers, founders, freelancers, business owners, people that are doing something that's considered slightly different to the status quo, to meet up, people that we like to describe endearingly so as rebels. Now, let me show you really quickly where we're at with all of this, right? So here we see the website. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Now the colors should be pretty reflective of where we're at. You can see we've got the basic kind of setup of a website here. It's quite stark. I've had a lot of time to think about I haven't had a lot of time, but I've had some time to think about the color scheme of the website and the brand. And while I do like the red, I've had a few conversations and we feel that it might be a bit aggressive. So perhaps a different color, or maybe a kind of shade to act as a cornerstone part of the palette will make sense, with colors to kind of throw in there and add a bit of personality. That may be the way that we decide to go forward, and it's definitely something that we've had in the past with the other company that I run called Different. We had monotone core colors with different shades and colors to add personality. So what you can see here is we've got the starts of a website. Now what you can also see is two buttons here that have nothing on them. I think they actually might have something on them, but the text is the wrong color right now. And as you can see, we've got a little arrow here that says, hey, head down here, which you can click and it brings you down to a space. Now, this space is supposed to have a map. It's supposed to have a map with all the locations that we have events on right now. There aren't a huge amount of locations that we have events in right now. We used to have 21 cities across 9 countries. We have about 3 cities back in the UK now. COVID killed every single event that we had, so we're going back to them. And then as you can see, I've got a little bit of copy here with some weird imagery, some other kind of stuff that doesn't relate and then full day spa. Like, what's going on? And the reality is that we basically just got a whole bunch of stuff on this website template that isn't relevant. It's just pre-populated, as you probably expect. But it's there to just fill in spaces that we might want later on. So what I'm thinking I'll probably do for the time being, just to keep this really easy, is just to have a one-page website, a whole page website, right? So as you'll see here with this bit, we've got pretty much everything we probably need on this one page right now. Nothing more that we need, really. This arrow takes us to a place that, yeah, gives us a little bit more information, but we can add that later on. You know, right now what we actually need is we need the place for people to engage. We can send people so that they can take action. They can start to figure out how to become a host. They can attend an event, all of those things, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that with you. I'm going to hopefully show you how I'm going to do that. And in a short space of time, I don't want to do this over too long, maybe half an hour. I want to have the one-page website ready with clickable stuff, and I might even be able to show you really briefly how I'm going to start automating the process for things like hosting. You know, this is a side project. It's an impact initiative that definitely needs to come back into the world, but not something that pays me, and thus not something that I have a huge amount of time to help manage right now. It's a very sponsorable thing. It gathered a lot of sponsorship pre-COVID, and I think it can go back to doing that again, but we need the numbers to get there. It's kind of chicken and egg. So I'm treating it like a side project right now, and obviously wanting to share that with you. So let's dive in. Okay, so as you've seen here, right, we've got the 3 links, as I mentioned. They can all be separate pages eventually. We've got the 2 buttons here, and then we've got a whole bunch of other stuff here. What do we really want to do is we want to create, you know, let's keep this as our main instance. Let's keep this as the thing that we're working from. But let's create another version of this, right? So let's open a new tab. And how I do this in WordPress, at least, is we find a plugin. Now, we want to be very careful with WordPress because overloading with plugins, as far as I'm aware, can, you know, make the website heavier, which not only makes it slightly slower, but probably has a slightly heftier impact on its carbon footprint as well. So 2 of those things not super helpful. But one of the things that is super helpful, certainly for the time being, and something that I've tended to install on pretty much every WordPress site that I've ever built, has been one of these duplicate plugins. Now, it does what it says on the tin, right? It duplicates posts, pages, custom posts, etc. If we just install that really quickly and activate that really quickly, and we go to this page right here and we click refresh, then what we might see is, there we go, duplicate this as a draft. So if I click that there, then we get a second version of it. You can see all of the demo template pages that we've got here exist, but we've got Wellness Home, that's the front page, Wellness Home, that's a draft. Now, Wellness Home is also already the wrong name for the page, right? So let's rename those. The front page is the one that we've already got access to. This can be Rebel Meetups main template, or like core, main core, let's call it that. It's basically just me knowing that that's what this is acting as. So Rebel Meetups is the slug. Cool. Now let's say Rebel Meetups main for now. Okay, then we want to do this, which is Rebel Meetups one pager. Okay, so what we're doing here, as you can see, this is the front page right now, this is a draft page right now. So let's just, while we're on it, while we're thinking about it, let's just switch that right over. We're not going to lose anything really because people are already getting the wrong information. So let's just swap that over real quick. And how we do that, if I remember rightly, is we go into settings, reading, and then we say, hey, you know what, we want the, why isn't it coming up there? That's really weird. Is it because it's not published? It might be because it's not published. Let's go to pages. Yeah, that'll be why it's not published. So let's go quick edit. Let's go to status, published, update, cool. Then go back to the settings, refresh, and there it is. Okay, cool. So let's click that. We won't notice any difference on the home page just yet, but now we know that if we go to here and it looks exactly the same as everything else, there we go. The header takes a little while to load up. That's interesting to me. Then we can see that this is the right page, right? The home page is now the one pager, the thing that we're trying to turn into our website for the time being. So as this loads up, it's still a little bit slow for some reason, unsure why. What we want is we want to keep most of this stuff at the top of the page. So let's just duplicate that for now. So we've kept it for safekeeping. And then let's just take all this out real quick. So we've got all that there anyway, but this is the top part of the page. Remember from previous streams, hopefully you might know, but this bit at the top and all of these bits represent all of the things that are on. Let me just go to view page on the page going downwards. So place to meet, free events, place to meet, free events. And then we've got buttons, buttons, button, and call to action, which is the arrow, etc. So this logically will be at the top and it will bump everything else down when we've got it. Now, the reason I'm adding something here is because I'm fairly sure, if I remember rightly, that there is a full page slider that you can add in here. So I can do select the slider on this Nectar slider. Now Nectar slider will be, I don't have any slider locations set up. Okay, so let's go to this slider. Add slides. It was in the side here, just in case anybody didn't realize. And we can go and add the image, one of which we've already got in here. I've not been sure of which image I should use. I want it to be representative of our events, and this is definitely one that we've got here from our actual events, but I like the quality of the photography on some of these. So let's just, I don't want it to feel like it's always a bar, but maybe let's use this one right now. It's gone down quite well with other people that I've shared it with, so let's do that. Texture overlay to the background. Let's see how that looks. Background alignment, center, color, heading. Okay, so this is where we can add the heading. So we can say, hey, place for Mavericks to meet. I don't know if I like that either, by the way, but let's just let's just say that, okay, for now, cool. I don't know whether that's right. We need to work on the copy there. Let's just put this in here, connect and share with fellow founders, freelancers, side hustlers, and rebels of all kinds. Because remember, if you aren't aware already, this is the intent of our events, is to connect people that are, you know, working in kind of startup-y spaces. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that's what we've got. Caption background. If you'd like to add a semi-transparent background to your caption, nah, I kind of like it like this. I don't think I want a kind of a floating highlight on it, but maybe we can try it. Let's see. Actually, let's turn it on. Let's just do that, and then we'll see what it looks like. But I'm fairly sure we'll take this off. We don't need an overlay color because it's already got that overlay on it. And then we can also add button links, right? So we've got two buttons that we can add here. We've already got two buttons here, which is cool. So one of them goes to rebelmeetups.com and they both go to rebelmeetups.com. Okay, so all of our links go to just the website right now. Let's say host an event, and let's say attend. Oh, sorry. Attend an event, a meetup. Let's say become a host. Okay, so that'll be two buttons that we've got there. Now, it's given us two buttons by default, which is pretty cool because that's exactly what we wanted. And let's just add a hash in each of these, which will basically pre-fill it with a link, I think. or will it just do? Let's just do a / which will make it look like and feel like a hyperlink, but without actually adding the link yet. This one will go to an Airtable, and this one will go to meetup.com when we are ready. So that's a solid color. I don't know why they've got different options. That's really interesting. Look, so we've got solid color background, then we've got solid color BG. That's really strange. They should probably be written as the same thing. Curious, interesting. Probably just a quirk of the theme. Slide content alignment. Do we want our content on the left? Well, no, I kind of like the central setup. So let's do this centered here. And then vertical alignment, we also want that in the middle because, you know, if it's at the top, be weird. If it's at the bottom, it's be weird. Let's keep it here. Sweet. Okay, so we don't need to add a class to that. Insert a down arrow. We don't need that right now because remember the point is to just create a full kind of a full width one. Now, what I'm missing here, and maybe this gives me the option in a bit, but is it? I remember there being the option to have it as a completely full page piece. So let's just click this, publish. So we've got that there now, okay? And then let's go back to, let's just refresh here. Let's go to edit this page. Now we know where those are. Let's delete that one because for some reason it's still there. Let's get rid of that because we're not in the plugins anymore. Let's go to the edit page piece, wait for this to load a second. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of an idiot there. I just basically didn't update what I was doing to the page. So it didn't, I mean, it does auto save as you can see there, but it didn't properly save. So, woo, long day, excuse me. So, I'm sure there's a full page option here somewhere. I'm sure there is. It used to be here, maybe they got rid of it, and anyone who's watching this might be shouting at me saying, it's there, but I'm not seeing where it is. So maybe it doesn't exist, or maybe it's in an option that I wasn't really thinking about. It possibly could be in here. What I basically want to do is I want to force this just to cover the whole page. So we've got full width content, equal height, full height row. This is it. We want to make it a full height row, column alignment, middle. That's it. That's basically what we want, right? So we want to go full width, full height row. That will cover the whole screen at the time, basically. And then if we say, hey, we want a slider, then we go here to choose the one that we just created or haven't actually created. Although I'm fairly sure we have. Oh, it might be in this locations piece on the side here, right? This is a little bit weird, but I think what we need to do is we need to say home slider or a home hero section. So hero section is generally the thing that's at the top. It's the main piece that people are going to look at. So let's say add new slider location. So we've got all slider locations, home hero section, right? Let's update that just to save it, lock that change in. And then if we go back to here, click out of this, let's update just to keep this as it is. And it will automatically refresh the page as a result. And then wait for this to load again. Then we go into here, click this. Then you can see the default, because the only option that we have right now is in there. Flexible slider height, display full width. Yes, I would like to do that. Full screen. Yes, I would like to do that. Cool. These are the options I was looking for, right? We'll always fill the screen size. Directional based on... I see. No, we don't need that. I don't think. We can come back to that later. Enable swipe. We don't need swipes or anything on bullet navigation. There's only, excuse me again, only one slide. We don't want to loop anything. There's only one slide. Image loading is only one slide. Although lazy load doesn't make sense. What lazy load is, by the way, is it will just improve your performance. You can read. You can see that because I didn't realize it said it there. Button sizing. Let's make the buttons quite big. Slide heading tag. We also want that to be quite big. So H1 is the highest on the heading hierarchy, which generally means it's the biggest, right? So if we go to preview the changes we just made, then we can see here it is now forced It's forced that to do something, but not the thing we wanted. Maybe that's because we changed this. So maybe it's because we changed that. And now we need to forward content, let's say. Let's try that. Some of these things are trial and error, and we play around with these things. Okay, was a little bit better. So what we're seeing here, this is probably the issue, right? We're seeing a margin. We're seeing a background here. So how do we remove that? Well, we remove the margin. There we go. 18, 13, 10, 10. 10, 10, 18, 13. That's where we're looking. So if we remove that, remove that, remove that, remove that, and then take that away as well. Remember, this all relates to just this one section, so we're not really affecting anything else here. And then we preview it. It should, fix it, which it's done. So now you can see we've added all of this stuff, right? Now, free meetups for Mavericks to Meet, blah. We've got the buttons here that we wanted to have. The header is still here, floating above that. And I can scroll at the moment because everything else is still here. But what we want to do is we want to force people not to scroll. Remember, we've got all of this content saved on the other instance that we duplicated earlier. So we've got the other one elsewhere. So whilst this is a little bit scary, delete all of these things so that just the one remains. And then we can update, lock it in. Again, a little bit scary, but we're good. And then we can check just to see if there's anything else here. Activate full screen rows. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want that anyway. It's kind of doing the job, but doesn't seem to be an issue. I think it's probably if you want to do a site like a site that I designed previously, I would show you, but don't need to. So yeah, anyway, let's just turn it off. It's probably confusing the code if we do that anyway. Let's close these because we don't need those options, I don't think. Page header settings. Oh Lord, I think I've literally just done a whole bunch of stuff that I could have done on this page right here. Let's test it, right? Let's test this. So let's go to update first and foremost. This might have been what I was looking for before, just to make it much easier. It's been a while since I built a WordPress website, so forgive me. I may be remembering things a little bit slower. Okay, so what you can see here is, yeah, we've got that, right? We've got the scroll into the footer, which, you know, is kind of cool. Sends people in the directions maybe that we want them to go. Maybe we don't want it. So what we can maybe do here is we can copy everything that we've got here and see if it actually might be easier or possibly even better on the code. I'm not sure whether it will, but it might be. So let's copy that. Not sure why it's not copying from the website. And if it's not copying from the website, that might also be a negative thing. It might not be being referenced on SEO as well. So you know, that's arguable. I'm not an expert on SEO, so someone else can tell me if that's true or not, but still. Page header background color, don't need. Page header font color, it's probably already set to white, but let's do that. And then page header overlay color, let's not do that for now. Let's click the image that we have here already, and then let's preview. And what that might do is it might supersede everything that we already had. Interesting. Okay, so we've got the animation style there. Interesting. Background alignment, vertical alignment. What if we say top? I'm not sure I like where that's coming up on the page. It says it's halfway, but it very much doesn't feel halfway. Okay, that's kind of better. It might still be a little bit high. We might have to do some custom CSS here. I'm not sure which one I prefer more. I think I kind of prefer this, but I think that's because this is forcing the copy here to be bolded, whereas this one isn't, which looks cleaner and nicer. Whereas this text is, you know, not as exciting or interesting probably as this. And the buttons are missing too. So I think, you know, because we want to keep the buttons primarily, I think we probably should remove this. So let's turn this off, remove that, delete that, and then that shouldn't show anymore. So let's update that page. Let's get off of these two because they're just previews. And then let's go to view page again. And we can just basically affect the stuff that we're seeing here, right? So this isn't really big enough. What size is the header copy slider height? Can we affect that inside of here, or do we have to do it inside? See, it says H1 is the heading tag. So what we want to do is if we want to affect that, right? Let's go to that's not the right option, I don't think, but let's see. Let's go to hair. It'll be in typography, I'm sure. So we've got typography here. Then we've got the HTML elements, and this will show you where heading 1 is, right? Now, for those of you who were here last time, you'll probably remember that we installed Use Any Font, which allows us to use that font that we've got right there at the moment, which is called There Brat, semi-bold. So let's just say normal. We want it normal for now. And then let's say font size should be, it was on 60, so let's say 80. And letter spacing, let's say 0, because we want it to just be normal, because that's what we. That looks much nicer. I'm much happier with that. I'm not sure about the buttons, and I'm also not sure about the color scheme in the background, but those are things that we can play with, right? We can amend those, play around with them, make sure they feel right. Let's get out of here, because that's already locked in. Let's get out of here for now, and let's get out of here for now. Just keep the tabs clean. Okay, so yeah, that's basically all of that right now. Now, I don't know if this is going to fully overlay it with a solid color. Surely it won't. It'll be a see-through color, which means that it might change. I mean, that's more orangey, but it'll mix with the red. I don't know what color it's going to come out like. It's quite a heavy overlay, isn't it? It's pretty intense as far as an overlay goes. So like if we turn that off, say let's say that, cool, okay, and then update again and refresh, like there's a lot of detail taken out of the image in exchange for the orange. So I kind of like the fact that we've basically created these images previously in Photoshop, and that's where we're at. And the buttons, not a big fan of their color. I don't know if we can affect those in here. Oh, we can, okay. So as you can see, they're calling in primary extra colors from somewhere. Now that's going to be in here. So we're in accent colors. And then you'll see the accent color is red. It's set to primary color, which is the accent color, and that's red. So what we want to do is potentially change that. Now, again, I'm thinking about changing the color scheme. I'll come back to that. I'll probably want to change my mind all the time on that, to be honest, but let's make the buttons, what color should we make the buttons for now? Let's make the buttons just trying to think what would work best. What I want to do is get a little bit of contrast here, not too much, but a little bit of contrast. So like you think about color wheel, what might be the opposite end of a color wheel and how might that look and feel? If the background was black and white and not red, the red would pop way more. And so maybe we should play around with that. Maybe we should. Okay. I'm just going to try and find these images here, and then let's see if we can play around with these. I'm waiting for Photoshop to load up, which is taking a little while, which it loves to do. I don't know why. It also might need updating because everybody's doing that AI thing right now where they're just allowing it to generate, auto-generate and play around with backgrounds and stuff. God, it is taking really quite a while. Here we go. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to load, let me talk to ya. So yeah, that's where we're at. What you've seen so far in what was that, maybe 20 minutes, is that we've taken all of that stuff that was on that website, we put it behind a curtain somewhere. The website is a bit heavier than it should be because that means there's another page in there that's needless. There needs to be some discipline when building a website. Supposedly, I'm still always only ever been self-taught, but as far as I'm aware, obviously the more that you've got on your files, on your hosting, then naturally the slower it's going to be, and or search engines are going to reference the wrong pages, even if they're not navigable via the main navigation. They'll still be found and people will find their way there sometimes. I've had that a few times in the past with pages that I've forgotten were still live. We don't want that. So Photoshop's loading now, so let me see if I can open that and then I'll come back to the screen. So that's what we've done. We basically got ourselves ready to be found. What we'll have as a difference, obviously, hopefully by the time I wrap this call up shortly, is I want to update the links on the buttons and have people pointed in the right direction, just so you know what they can do and how they can get involved. That might not be... Photoshop isn't responding. That's great timing. Let's try once more. If it's not, then we'll just update those buttons and then we'll figure out the colors later on. Let's do that while Photoshop is actually trying to load. Okay, so let me head back to here. Cool. There's a couple of places that we want to link to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my other screen because there might be some confidential information or I might be logged into a client's account, but I'm going to load up Airtable, right? So Airtable is a spreadsheet software that allows you to basically do a bunch more than something like Sheets would or Excel would. It's not a spreadsheet software, that's unfair. It's a database. It's a database software, which is a little bit more advanced. It does some really cool things. It has a lot of automation capability, which is where the interesting stuff starts to happen, at least for me in this project specifically. What I have with Airtable is I have a database of hosts and events. And what I've set up there, which I'd love to show you, but again, might not be able to just because it's got some host data on there. I want to make sure that I'm not, giving the game away too much. Is that I've got, a bunch of info on there, which I've got an automation on there that allows basically a host to apply to be a host. Someone say, hey, you know what? I really want to be a host. And I'm like, cool, okay. And then that automation will nudge me via Slack and it will say, hey, someone's just applied to be a host. It actually did today. So I want to go and check that out. And it will say, hey, someone's just applied to be a host. And it will nudge me to go and log in. And then when I log in, it will show me what... I'm just trying to log into Airtable here. It will show me who's applied, where they're at, and the city that they want to potentially host for. Now, what I can do then is I can click one drop-down button that will set up a call with that person and just do a quality check. I want to make sure that I meet as many hosts as possible. And after a while, then we start to figure out how to automate that even further, which we've done in the past, but for now it's quality control is really important. And then once I've met that person, I want to be able to click one other button and send them everything they need and get them going. That means that we can potentially send them two emails by me just clicking two buttons. Have a call with somebody and change a drop down button in Airtable to change the status and send them everything they'll ever need. A Calendly link to book a meeting with me, some more information, etc., etc. And then once I've spoken to them, just click them down as approve or unapproved for whatever reason that might be, which rarely happens, but approved, and then it will send them another email with everything else that says welcome and we're excited to work with you and here's your host pack, please read it, here's your license agreement, please sign it, and everything else that kind of just keeps everybody protected and everybody aware of what's going on at all times. Now I'm jumping into the Rebel Meetup host application right now. I'm also going to try and open Slack to see, actually I don't need to do that because it will be in here anyway, it'll be the latest edition. Cool, so basically what I've got, and I don't know if I can show you this. Let me see, can I hide this field? Can I hide the main field, which is their name? I can't, that's really annoying, so I might not be able to show you. Yeah, I don't know if I can show you because I could probably show you the automations. Just make sure, bear with me, I'm just making sure that there's no data that I'm showing off here, by the way. Okay, yeah, I can briefly show you this. So let me bring this down here. What you can see is the data part is here. That's the bit that I can't show you, but the automations are here. So when somebody, these things are if I just change one drop-down box. That's so handy. What I want to do is I want to send them a link to a form. So let me just bring it up here so we can take this back to the form without showing you all the data. I don't know how people do this stuff, and they're super disciplined without breaching data collection rights. But here you go. Okay, so at the moment the form is branded as different, which I need to change, because now that we've decided Rebel Meetup should have a brand of its own, then it should say Rebel Meetups right here, right? The color scheme should match, the information here should match. But we've already called them Rebel Meetups here. There is a page here called Why Host that if you click on it, you'll see will take you to the introduction pack that's hosted on the website, and that is why you should run a Rebel Meetup. Now, this will also be rebranded in line with this stuff, and this is what you get basically if you apply to be a Meetup host. But what we want to do is we want to send people to this form to get them applying. At the moment they'll be a little bit confused, and I'll do this offline because it'll be boring just to update that and change those things in the copy and so on. But if they want to be a host, we want to get them there really quickly. So what we want to do is just share the form, copy the link, head to here. That page is done, that page is done. Let's edit this page, and we want to basically make it so that this link goes there. And actually I've done a silly thing because that is in the slider section, isn't it? So let's just go back here. Don't know what I've got open right now. It might just be the fact that OBS is running, that my MacBook isn't liking it and going quite slow, but we move. Okay, so become a host. That's where we want them to go, right? We want to send them to the Airtable form. So if we save that, then we can update it. Now, what we all would love to do, what I would absolutely love to do, is send people to one meetup.com link. I can't do that, unfortunately. The reason I can't send them to one meetup.com link so that they can see all the meetups that we run everywhere is literally because meetup.com charge a huge amount of money for you to have all your events on one page. Don't ask me why. I think it's ridiculous. It's something like $5,000 a year if you want one central page for all the meetup groups in different locations that you run. Yes, companies have to charge money. I think that's a ridiculous amount of money for that, especially for a platform that presumably lives and breathes off of indie creators. They tell me that the central page piece is designed for the Googles of the world and so on, but I do think that they need to have some exceptions. Anyway, what that would allow me to do if I had it would be to basically send people to meetup.com/Rebel Meetups probably, and they would go find a map and be able to see, where's my local meetup I can attend. I can't do that right now. What we have is 15 cities worth of URLs. I could send people only to the Bristol meetup, or I could send them only to the London meetup, but I don't want to just be sending people to just one meetup. If you're based in Mexico, then you might miss the one that we've had previously in Mexico City if I only send you to the Bristol one, obviously. So we need to come up with a way to fix that. The way that we'll fix that in due course will be to have more stuff on the website that tells you how to go to each of those locations. It will be a list or a map or something. We will emulate what meetup.com are basically trying to charge $5,000 a year for. I will have a chat with meetup.com to see if we can basically use that feature in the interim, and or I hope that any day soon they change their terms and their product and their pricing. We'll see. Maybe a sponsor comes up because they've watched this stream and they've gone, hey, you know what, sounds really annoying, let me foot the bill for that, and we'd love to see you have that one singular page on meetup.com. If you want to do that, call me, would love to chat with you. But in the meantime, I don't know if we can do anything about it. I realize I've been talking to you about meetup.com whilst not actually showing you meetup.com. Classic me. So let me just, I've been chatting about Airtable whilst not showing you Airtable. So this is Airtable here, right? You can see what we've got on the Rebel Meetup host application. And as I say, it's all branded with different, they've got everything they need here. And all it is filling in information in this form that goes into this grid view that I cannot show you, that then populates stuff and then allows me to send them automatically responses with just that drop down box. So have a look through. I would have a look through these, but again, I don't know how much I can show you. I don't think there should be any data in here. Let me see. Of course, let me show you the approval one, because that's obviously the positive one. So as you can see, when something, when the, where's the trigger? Here's the trigger. The status of the applicant is approved, i.e. I've deemed them okay to be an applicant, to be a host, then we will send them an email, and then we will send that to their email address, and we'll congratulate them on being a Rebel Meetups host, and then we'll send them some stuff. Now you can see this is formatted because it's got to be formatted in line with basically HTML, which I think Airtable really should update. There should be a version of this that's drag and drop kind of WYSIWYG approach, but it gives them an idea of everything that they need to do. Now I've just realized I've given away a code here, but I don't think that code exists anymore, so good luck. And I will change that after this stream, so again, good luck. But yeah, you can see that the automation exists there. Then there's also one for review, and then there's also one for decline. So now you can see how that automation works, because you're actually watching it and not watching me talk. So yeah, what we're basically looking to do here is get people to click on this button, be sent to that form that I just showed you. Hopefully it shows you just the form. Good. Take you to the form, and then fill it in, and then it will send people to the grid, which I will be informed on Slack, and then I can approve people or decline them or whatever with just a few clicks. That's a lot of explaining just to say, basically I'm automating stuff because I need to. It's hard to find the time to do all of that stuff manually if you're not automating it. A good business, especially in 2023, uses things like uses technology to do things like automate, to allow them to be way more efficient than they could be. There are many multi-million-pound companies out there that are run by individual people who have understood how to do things using the power of automation and technology. So do not hesitate to give it a go yourself. Now, I've just removed that second button for now because of the fact that, as I say, I don't know where to send them. I need to figure that out. But what we've got is on the other side of, probably somewhere between half an hour and an hour's work now, 45 minutes work. If I wasn't talking, obviously it would have been done faster. And if I didn't mess up what I was showing you on the stream, then you would have seen a lot more as well. But all we've got is one button here that if they click it, they will, as promised, go to, hopefully, fingers crossed, the Rebel Meetup host application, which again does need to be rebranded because it's called different right now, and it will have the better image at the top here, and obviously rebranded here too. And they'll go and they'll get submitted, and it will turn into my form, and then I'll get notified that they've applied. So now, when people go to rebelmeetups.com, as opposed to an hour ago where they would see a whole bunch of irrelevant stuff, they'll come here and they'll see only relevant things. This, and this might even be removed. I might do that after this, so you don't need to see me delete links. Or maybe I just take those two away and make that link to there at the same time. And then we've got these links, which I'll need to update. I don't think pages exist for any of these right now, for the meetups specifically that aren't branded. Or that are branded in line with Rebel Meetups, because obviously this is brand new. But yeah, we've updated the website. It took, if I wasn't talking about it, probably 25, 30 minutes. That's where we're at. I hope that's helped you kind of, keep up to date with where I'm going on this product and this project. It's not super complicated. It's not the most exciting thing just yet. The exciting stuff will happen obviously when we start onboarding more hosts and we start chatting to people. I'd love to show you some of that, and I will show you some of that if I can. There's a lot of stuff that comes down to data protection now that I might not be able to show you, but I'd love to be able to show off how we do things, and yeah, I guess one of the things that's worth saying right now is if you do want to become a host with a meetup in your city, then I can't recommend it enough. It is an incredibly rewarding thing. It is a massively impactful thing for building your own personal network. It gives you an opportunity to invite speakers if you want to have speakers who you might never have had an excuse to talk to before, which is a really great icebreaker for really important people. In Bristol, for example, we've had the founder of IMDb come and speak. I wouldn't have otherwise had a reason to contact him, but he came and spoke anyway, for free. And now I know someone who has a company that they sold to Jeff Bezos, who, I mean, he probably knows him personally. And so it does wonders for the network as a result, and it allows you to connect people really wholesomely within your own local community, which in turn has a direct impact on your potential revenue. Many members of ours have, from events, earned more, frankly, than I have from our events, and found friends for life. And in one case, a partner who they're about to get married to. So hosting net is a great idea. And you know, now there is a new brand and a slowly updating website with a form where people can click to go and tell me if they do want to be a host. So if you do want to be a host, you know where to click. It's right there. Go and do it. In the meantime, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go and lay down. It is 8:30 here, almost 8:10 here. Yeah, I'm going to go and live some life now, I think. Thanks for joining me. I'll do another one of these again soon, hopefully, with bulking the website out a bit more, or at least having had bulked the website out a little bit more. Show you how I've done it, what I've said there. Unsurprisingly, it'll be a bit of what we've already done on the other page that isn't public now, and a bit of this too. But in the meantime, I will love you and leave you. Be good, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.